Hey, Science Seekers, this is Mr. Pfeiffer. We have another special episode, and this episode is actually highlighting a history fair project with our Made Magnet students. Needy and Stuti are going to talk about the ISRO, the India Space Race Organization, which is one of the other rocketry programs that was going on around the same time as the Russians and the United States. So we hope you enjoy this intriguing and engaging video all about the ISRO.
In the 1960s, scientists, innovators, and dreamers around the world came together and focused their interest on one thing: everything that existed beyond our planet. During the space race, many countries were trying to compete to discover something new in space research and technology. India, a country at first on the sidelines, was rising very quickly to prove themselves in space research to the world. On August 15, 1969, the Indian Space Research Organization, also known as ISRO, was created. The lengthy process to create ISRO was met with many hardships and struggles. However, one specific person, Vikram Sarabhai, had the biggest impact. Sarabhai dreamed about everyone having an opportunity to learn and be able to work in space research in India. So he led the mission to launch the first rocket and create India's first space research center. The creation of the Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, and the work of Vikram Sarabhai opened new frontiers with developments and opportunities in space science, such as the launch of Chandrayaan-1 that found ice and water deposits on the south pole of the moon. Vikram Ambalal Sarabhai, an award-winning physicist, industrialist, and engineer, was born on the 12th of August, 1919, to wealthy industrialists in Ahmedabad, Gujarat. He is considered the father of the Indian space program because of his dream to create his own rockets and later for India to have its own space research program. He earned his doctorate from Cambridge, studied cosmic rays, and published research. While he was at Cambridge, he was launching rockets and developing ways to make them better. While he was forced to leave Cambridge during the Second World War and go home, he was also given the opportunity to visit the Indian Institute of Science, IIS, in Bangalore. This is where he met and learned under Dr. Homi J. Bhabha and Dr. C.V. Raman. After leaving IIS, Sarabhai went back to his hometown in Ahmedabad, where he first realized his dream and vision. Vikram Sarabhai's vision for India was to evolve, spread, and harness space technology in national development, advance how space research could help the public living in small rural villages, and pursue planetary exploration and space science research. Ultimately, he wanted to help the public by spreading scientific information so everyone had access to it and could use it to benefit their lives. However, for this to happen, he needed the Indian government's approval to establish the Indian National Committee for Space Research, INCOSPAR. It took a long time, and after many hardships, he was able to persuade the Indian government. This allowed them to start the mission and start their space research, and was the beginning to his vision. They spread the word to different space and engineering institutes and then started to recruit students from different colleges and universities to promote the rise of space research in India. This eventually led to some of the biggest pioneers of space research in India, such as Abdul Kalam, Ramabhadran Arvimundan, and Madhavan Nair, and many others. Some early recruits worked as Sarabhai's assistants as he worked and led the way, like E.V. Chitnis, P.D. Bhavasar, and S.R. Thakur. The Indian National Committee for Space Research was formed by Sarabhai convincing the government. They established a rocket and satellite launching center in Trivandrum, which was Tumba Equatorial Rocket Launching Station, TERLS. This led to the first Nike Apache launch in November 21, 1963. This was a highlight in the history of the Indian space program because it was the first sounding rocket launch. Soon after, many scientists from all over the world came to TERLS to launch rockets and work with the Indian scientists. It improved relationships between the INCOSPAR and the other space committees around the world. Later, India dedicated TERLS to the United Nations. In TERLS, Indian scientists worked together to design, improve, and launch rockets so that the Indian space program could grow significantly. They worked in groups, and each group had their own leader to make sure the work was done efficiently. Even though Sarabhai led the mission as a whole, he had some very skilled and talented scientists lead the way in TERLS while he was off on other projects for INCOSPAR. These incredible scientists who led the design teams were A. Kalam, M. Nair, U. R. Rao, V. Gowarkar, M. R. Kurup, S. C. Gupta, R. Arvamudam, and A.E. Muthanayagam. These teams worked between themselves and with other teams to make the best possible ways to develop and improve rockets and satellites. They later looked for another rocket and satellite launching station and found the perfect place in Sriharikota, where the launching station was later built. After that, Incospar was turned into ISRO and was later put into the Department of Atomic Energy, the DAE. Soon after, Vikram Sarabhai asked a few of his trusted, reliable scientists who were R. Arvimudan, Ramakrishna Rao, and Y.J. Rao to go to different space research centers around the world. They learned many things, such as the potential for space technology beyond the sounding rockets, which was what they were working on at the time. They also developed better relationships with other countries, such as France, giving them information, and NASA launching programs with ISRO, like the NISAR program. ISRO opened up opportunities to grow India as a whole with its fast development and growing facilities. Vikram Sarabhai's dream came true as ISRO was able to launch its own rockets that were made from scratch and showed the world that India was as good as any other country in space research and development. They grew increasingly fast as a nation and built relationships as well as helped other countries with their individual space research operations. The creation of ISRO opened new frontiers for India to develop satellites and rockets. ISRO has made multiple engines such as the Vikas engine and the CE-20 engine. ISRO has 3 operational launch vehicles that are the Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle, PSLV, the Geosynchronous Satellite Launch Vehicle, the GSLV, and the Geosynchronous Satellite Launch Vehicle, MK3, LVM3. The creation of ISRO also made India rise up in the eyes of the world, as they managed to make a space agency of their own that effectively carried out important missions. However, ISRO has had its ups and downs, such as the failure of the SLV-3 rocket, as well as the Chandrayaan-2 satellite. Nonetheless, they built upon it and were able to improve, which was the cause of their other successful missions. ISRO has built, developed, and improved. They were able to create and discover many important opportunities in space research, such as cryogenic technology. Cryogenic technology is the study of production and the behavior of materials at extremely low temperatures, below 123 Kelvin, and is used in the last stage of speed launch vehicles, or SPVs. India's discovery of cryogenic technology is important because it made India one of the 6 countries which uses cryogenic technology, while also helping with the advancements of rocket engines. The Vikas engine, a portmanteau from the initials of Vikram Ambalal Sarabhai, is a family of liquid-fueled rocket engines conceptualized and designed using information obtained from French scientists. Then, using further information from ISRO's scientists and mechanics, they were able to build upon the Vikas engine and create the rocket for Gaganyaan. Gaganyaan is the first manned mission India is performing, launching in 2024. The mission includes 2 unmanned missions to test for crew safety, followed by the manned mission. NASA's new Artemis missions intend to re-establish a human presence on the moon for the first time since the Apollo 17 mission in 1972. The planning of the Artemis mission is also solely based on the fact that Chandrayaan-1, one of ISRO's most important missions, found solid evidence of water on the moon. The Chandrayaan-1 spacecraft was used to orbit the moon and uncover more about water on the south pole of the moon. The Mars Orbiter mission, or MOM, was one of ISRO's most impressive achievements. India became the first ever country to enter Martian orbit on their first attempt. It was also India's first interplanetary mission and the first Asian country to reach Mars. The Mangalyaan spacecraft successfully entered Mars orbit on September 23, 2014, making ISRO only the 4th space agency in the world to do so. On top of their many missions, ISRO contributes to the various dedicated research centers and institutes in the field, and is one of the only countries to have a program that provides a way for all of the Indian public to access space science education. Even in rural areas where education is hard to come by, ISRO is making it possible for those areas to have space education. This shows that the vision that Vikram Sarabhai saw for the future of ISRO was successful because of his hard work and leadership and the other scientists who joined on this mission to help India become the great country that it is today. ISRO is one of the world's most elite space organizations, and most of it is because of the hard work and dedication multiple people, especially Vikram Sarabhai, did to make it what it is now. ISRO opened new frontiers and opportunities, which is reflected in the launch of multiple satellites that have explored space and brought back information. ISRO's unique and cost-effective technologies have earned it a place as one of the world's most elite space organizations. ISRO's research and findings contributed greatly to the improvement of space research, and the world wouldn't be where it is today without the achievements of ISRO.